Yeah, that's all I'm doing, John. Good afternoon, thank you very much. Thank you very much for coming. We're going to talk about forums. Forums have been my life for the last years, you'll find out in a minute. So we have Paul at the back who's going to change the slides for me. As I said, I'm Laurie Beagle. I'm Divisional Director at P&A Receivables, or the P&A Group of companies in Sheffield, in the UK. I also was elected as Vice Chair of the Institute of Credit Management in the UK this year as well, so very proud. Now, before I start, there was one mention I was told I had to do. In the UK today, I have the Office Supplies Credit Forum. And because I'm not there, so I've off the substitute bench came Brent Cumming from Experian. I said I would give him a mention and a thank you. So I have somebody else running one of my forums today, so I'm hoping he's doing a good job. I will find out later. So. Okay, next one. Okay, I didn't number these 1, 2 and 3, and there isn't a 4, so if you would like to get your clickers out, or what do you call it? Yes is number 1, and no is number 2, and 3 is number, and can't remember is number 3. So if you'd like to vote now, you've got it in your pocket somewhere. Okay, we have some results. Yes, well that's good. I'm glad there's 0 who can't remember. So, especially this time of day. Okay, well that's good. That gives us a bit of a platform to move forward. So we'll go to the next one. Now there's been a lot written about credit forums. If you read the credit press, or credit circles in old money, as we call it in the UK. It's fair to say not every credit professional has been convinced that they are a benefit. So if you've been to a forum, I will ask you a little later what you thought. There's also a few people who've had some bad experiences, so we're going to ask you about those as well. 23 years ago, I'll take this off here, I think it'll be easy. 23 years ago, I started the first credit forum. Last month it had its 140th meeting, which I think is quite an achievement. And there was still somebody there at that 140th meeting, so which is quite good. So, but over the years we've developed a number of forums. Some of those have gone by the wayside because the industries have changed. But I'm now running a stable of 11 forums, and I can see some people in the audience have actually either been members, are members of those forums. So, Paul, thank you. Now what we're going to talk about is credit circles and credit forums. Now just to talk about the difference. Credit circle, in my terms, is when you actually share information on common customers. Credit forums, which is predominantly what I run, this is where it is where you're sharing best practice, developing best practice, and planning for the future. So I'm not talking about customers. So that's the dividing line between the two. I'd like to dispel a couple of myths to start with, and I get this quoted a lot from lawyers. Any lawyers in the audience? Thank goodness for that. Lawyers keep telling me that they're illegal, or it's illegal for you to share information. It's not illegal for you to share information. You can share information with your peers, same industry or different industries, but the whole concept is it's not illegal. But there are rules. And maybe your company has rules that says, no, we don't want you to share any information with your peers from your competitors, which is fair enough. But the other rules are, in most countries, there are exceptions. There's the Competition Act, DPA laws, etc., which do stop you sharing some information. Anybody from Russia in here? Russia is one country where it's very, very difficult to share information. We've actually had companies in Russia have applied for membership to some of my forums, and then for one of the forums that we do where they do share information, and they've realised they can't, so they've decided not to join, which is a bit of a shame. So, especially with the situation in Russia, it would be very nice to find out what is going on. So. Oh, next one, please. So what are the laws? No discussions or exchange of information should take place on competitively sensitive issues. So prices paid for raw materials, costs, discounts, rebates. No joint approval should be made, so you can't all put your hand up and say we're going to put that account on stop. That is acting like a cartel. That is illegal. Go outside the room, ring up your office and say put that account on stop. That's fine, you can do that, but that's your decision, not a joint decision. No exchange of competitive information, including prices, payment terms, strategies, salaries, benefits, etc. But there's a lot of information that you can share, and I'll come on to that in a minute. Right, next one, please. Question 2. There's 4 on this one, so you have to put your own numbers in. Would you like to vote now, please? Okay. Do we have some results? I want to know who said never again. 4% did. But you'd like to come and see me afterwards. I'd like to know a little bit more about that. So that's pretty good, actually. So, 97% excellent and good. I'm pleased you've had some good experiences. 4%, as I say, if you've had bad experiences, then I'd like to hear a little bit more about it. So what can't you do? So I said a little just now, collectively agree with customers to deal with or fix prices, plan any future actions, exchange, collect information on prospects related to pricing, make defamatory comments. I had one about my forums where I have to stop some of the members and say, go outside. If you want to say something bad about that customer, you need to say it outside the room. So you've got to be careful what you say. Auto-reject an application on the basis of discussions, and discuss personal data. You've got to take data protection rules or laws into consideration. Your lawyers, I'm sure, will help you along the lines on that, or my number's at the end of this and I can always help you. Okay, next. So what should you do? I'm just going to run through now credit circles and credit forms on how you can structure it without going too deep into this, but just as you'll have these slides anyway, so it give you a bit of idea on how on what you can do and what you can't do. You've got to get the structure right. So you need a chairperson. You need to have a written agenda, which you circulate in advance, so the members need to see it in advance. Produce written minutes and make them available to the members. It doesn't have to be everything that everybody says, but it should be the actions. As you will exchange information on current customers, you have that fully documented process, and review that process ongoing to ensure it fits the purpose. Now, I'm going to take you through a 3-stage process on just sharing data, which we're using at the moment. We've actually been using it for the last 12 years. It's actually been updated recently by some American lawyers who've helped us just dot the I's and cross the T's a little bit. So we can go to the next slide. Our members are asked to put forward 5 names. And the name of the company, the town, postcode, zip code, and there's a priority. Is it a high priority, low, medium priority, or low priority? Keep it nice and simple, but that's stage 1. That comes into us. Next, please. We consolidate it onto a sheet which has the same information, and then we ask the members then to fill in the next piece, which is payment habits, terms, are they insured, yes or no, how long they've known them, and then we send that back out to the members and say, have a look, do some research and see whether you know any of those. If you do, send it back in, and we'll then provide the next one, please. Stage 3, we send a final list of discussion accounts to the attendees in advance of the meetings. That way they can make sure that they're fully prepared when they come to the meeting to tell you what their trading experiences have been. Now, when we designed this, we said there was one key objective, and that was to take away the need for just saying, I'm trading this company, I've been doing it for 5 years, I'm insured. All the things on that form, we're not interested in that. What we are interested in, we're interested to know what their experiences are, the history, the story behind that account. And the key is, you can talk about historic data and factual data. So that's what we're looking, and that's what we do when we do it in this format. We just want to get away, as it says there, want to get away from the members just reading what's on the forms. There's one group I know that goes on that has about, they do over 2 days, about 400 or 500 companies they share information on. And it's a case of how fast you can write to take information down. And that's, to me, that's no fun, and it also adds no value. So we take time on the accounts when the members have a lot of trading experience. In short, we want the members to share their information. Next one, Paul, please. Right, but on the opposite side, our credit set was outdated. Businesses are 24/7. You can get trading experiences, you can't wait to get those trading experiences the next meeting if you're dealing with that customer today and you need to make a credit decision today. Technology solutions from the main credit reporting agencies help data exchange happen in real time. And sharing of information on current customers is now catered for more by technology solutions, perhaps more than by sitting face to face. But on the contrary side, face-to-face discussions do have their benefits. But maybe it's a case of face-to-face, picking up the phone and actually talking to people that you know. So you don't have to wait till that next meeting, which is 2 months' time or 2.5 months' time. At the end of the day, you need to decide what's the best format for you. So going on to credit forums. Very similar. Get the structure right, have a chairperson, have a written agenda which is circulated in advance of the meeting, produce written notes of discussions and make them available to the members. Again, that only needs to be actions, it doesn't need to be whatever every word that people say. And in my world, the purpose of the meeting is to provide a learning environment. That's our goal. Somebody said earlier in one of the other presentations, I think it was Martin, when you come to one of our forums, we want you to take a minimum of one thing away. If you take 10 things away that you didn't know, brilliant. But a minimum of one. That's our goal every time. Next, please. And our emphasis is very much on solving business challenges, filling skill gaps, sharing experiences and networking. As I said, best practice comes into this a lot, and I have a new term now, best practice and new practice, because businesses and business environments are changing such a lot. It's not always best practice, it's looking at where your businesses are going for the future. Plus, our meetings are just more than just meetings. We have them 3 times a year, 4 times a year. We used to have them 6 times a year with some of our forums, but time is now tight, so quarterly is the more general. But we have an opportunity, we have the process in place where members can communicate with each other as regularly as they want. If somebody's got an issue, got a question, can send it into the centre, we have a look at it, clean it up sometimes, because sometimes there's a bit of emotion in there that needs to be taken out, and we send that out to the members and say, can you answer this question? And invariably, there's an answer comes back. We also say, if you don't know, don't answer it. Otherwise, I have 300 members who I forums. There's a lot of email goes backwards and forwards. But somebody somewhere out there invariably knows the answer. So it's a great way of, on the day, finding out what you need to know. It may be what are the trading terms in Saudi Arabia. It may be new legislation in France. It may be, do you know of this little reseller that's just sprung up in Moscow? Could be anything like that. Next, please. Now, this is key. The key to any association or club are its members. I'm sure Mark will say yes to that as well. And we spend a lot of time finding and attracting new members. And when we got them, we very, very much tried to hang on to them as much as we can. When I started forums 23 years ago, we were almost the first. I think we probably were the first. Now there is a lot of other people running forums and events and things to take up your time. So you must pick wisely, and we've got you lassoed. We want to try and hang on to you. So. But our members are very supportive in spreading the word to other professionals. I believe that everybody knows 10 people. Now, maybe I don't want to know all 10 of those, but I may want to know a couple of them. So we actually do encourage our members to put forward their colleagues or in other companies or people they know to come along to the forums. And we say, come along for free, have a look. If you like the benefits, join. We also have developed a comprehensive benefit package which is supported fully by our sponsors. I'm pleased to say some of our sponsors are here today, Company Watch and Experian. Our sponsors, our co-sponsors are very, very important. I hate this term one-stop shop, but I just couldn't think of anything else to put in there. At the end of the day, if you're a member of our forum, if you need something, hopefully with the sponsors and our partners, you know that you're going to get quality and hopefully you'll get a good price as well. So that's up to you to negotiate. Someone, I won't say who, there's a couple of people in the room probably do know the answer to that. Someone once described my forums as a boys' club. Had a feeling that it was a boys' club and all we did was actually go down the pub. And it's not true. We also have a lot of ladies as well as members, so when he came along to the meeting, he actually was, he saw the correct side of what forums are all about. Each forum has an agenda item bank. After each meeting, we get the members to tell us what they want at the next meeting. We put it into a bank, we put that together for the next meeting. It's very, very important. It's not me down the pub thinking, what can I put on the agenda next meeting? It's the agendas come from the members, it's relevant. We also keep an eye on how old those items are. So if it starts to age, we get rid of them, and we're always new items coming forward. So just to give you a few examples. Managing guarantees and payment instruments. These are all things that we've actually covered recently. Global customers and global credit limits. Globally standardised credit processes versus customisation to local specific. E-billing, debt recovery, late payment, debt. I'm not sure that makes English. It's very good English, though. Debt recovery is pretty leave it at that. Developing teams, so there's always the softer skills as well. It's not just the technical side, and I think the balance, the resources, the assets in your business are the people, and as we heard earlier, training is important, so we actually bring that in as well. And we've got some really good relationships with some really good trainers, one sitting right at the very back, Bill Dunlop. One more time, please. Credit forum environment. The forums provide a very creative environment. They're not, when we started 23 years ago, we would bore you to death with PowerPoint. We've stopped doing that now. We actually sit you in round tables. There is an element of PowerPoint, but it's very much interaction, workshops, sharing with each other. we won't add up how many years experience there are around each table, but there's a lot of experience comes along to the meetings, and we want to get those experiences out on the table, put that together with the information you can get from the subject matter experts that come along as well. Put those two things together, it's very, very powerful. We've also been able to build on members' ideas. We do benchmarking across some of our forums, not applicable to them all, of course. Training, I put training with a difference because I think it is training with a difference. And anti-fraud processes, fraud, I'm told, I get involved a lot in fraud, not doing fraud, preventing fraud. But I think every forum we've got asks now for fraud prevention to be on the agenda. It's across border as well. So fraud is becoming, somebody described it to me as the fastest growing industry. I was going to come back as a plumber after I died, but I've decided to come back as a fraudster because I think you'll make more money. So. Nobody liked that joke. So. Finally, we should mention our co-sponsors, as I said, and supporters. They all play a key part in bringing expert knowledge to the forums. Their support is key to the future and the evolution of the forums. So finally, one more time. If you're thinking about starting a forum or a credit circle, or I'm very interested in this region on whether we actually can work with Mark to actually bring some credit forums to this region as well. So if you're interested in any form about forums, credit circles, I'm here today, tonight and tomorrow. Please feel free to or send me an email and we can have a chat. I believe very much in that bottom. Those bottom two lines, credit professionals never stop learning. It doesn't matter how old you are, you never stop learning. So thank you very much.